So far, we had discussed about very basics of signal systems, of a band pass signal, band pass system. We now move towards modulation techniques. The first modulation technique which we'll discuss is the linear modulation techniques. One example of linear modulation techniques, or the only example rather, is amplitude modulation. So why it's linear? Amplitude modulation is linear because linear modulation, it's not linear modulation technique, because you'd see that after modulation the message spectrum is linearly scaled version of the modulated spectrum. So it's just translated in frequency. The shape of the spectrum more or less remains as it is. It's just scaled. There is a scaling factor involved. Further, the property of linearity, if we have two signals, x1t, x2t, they have message spectrum x1f, x2f. After amplitude modulated, the spectrum would be the same x1f, x2f combined together, and then it's translated. And you can correspondingly extend the definition of linearity of two signals. So the combination of the spectrum is linear in that sense. Okay, so amplitude modulation. Let's say we have a message signal xt. Here is the message signal. The message signal xt, we throughout the course what we'll have is we will have a message signal with normalized message signal, normalization, such that it is bounded between -1 and +1. So mod xt is less than equal to 1. The message baseband bandwidth considered to be W, and if we remove the DC, the average of xt is equal to 0. If the average of xt is equal to 0, so basically the message signal is not only normalized but also the DC is removed. We consider a term known as mu, which is known as modulation index. The amount of modulation that we are providing to the message signal. So since this does not have a DC now, so we add a DC 1 plus mu xt. So this is the message signal multiplied by modulation index, DC is added, and AC cosine omega ct. This is multiplied to AC cosine omega ct. That is my carrier frequency of amplitude AC, frequency omega c. So if you see here, we can decompose this as AC cosine omega ct. That means a pure carrier signal is present, and AC times mu xt times cosine omega ct. That means a message signal multiplied with my carrier frequency is present. So a pure carrier frequency exists. Henceforth, this is known as amplitude modulation with the presence of carrier frequency. So if you see the spectrum, it would be something like this. Since the message signal has a spectrum baseband bandwidth of W, that means it extends from -W to +W. When it is shifted in frequency, it occupies a position, a spectrum in frequency from Fc minus W to Fc plus W. That means a bandwidth of 2W. And if xt is real message signal, definitely, so it's symmetric in nature. Hermitian symmetry exists in terms of the spectrum of the message signal. So these two bands, the upper sideband and the lower sideband, these are symmetrical sidebands. And then there is this carrier frequency, carrier impulse in the frequency domain, which is present due to AC cosine omega ct. If we write this in the form of amplitude, in phase and quadrature phase components, we see since cosine omega ct, the component associated with that is AC1 plus mu xt, that is known as in phase component. The component associated with sine omega ct is 0, so quadrature phase component is 0. Okay. Now observe that 1 plus mu mod xt should be greater than equal to 0. Why? Because if we want our signal, if we want to recover the modulated signal, recover the message signal from the modulated signal by just observing the envelope, then if 1 plus mu xt for all values of xt and henceforth 1 plus mu mod xt max basically is greater than 0, then there is no abrupt change in the amplitude of the carrier frequency. Abrupt change means it does not, if it crosses 0, then their amplitude, there is a sudden change in the amplitude. We'll see via a picture in the next slide. So 1 plus mu xt is greater than equal to 0 means the amplitude, the envelope is kept intact, and this would imply, since maximum value of xt is 1, minus 1 or plus 1, maximum minimum value, this would imply that mu should be less than equal to 1. So here is a mistake, 1 plus mu xt, it is not 1 plus mu mod xt. So for values of xt where it is negative, so we expect that this should be greater than equal to 0, that means mu should be less than equal to 1. So mu less than equal to 1, we can faithfully recover our signal from the envelope itself. Definitely you can recover for mu greater than equal to 1, but then the problem is you cannot actually visualize from the envelope the presence of the message signal very clearly. There is ambiguity, and you have to go for something known as synchronous or coherent demodulation. So that is a disadvantage if we go for modulation mu which is greater than 1. So mu less than equal to 1 is the expected value of modulation index. If mu is greater than 1, we call it's known as over modulation, and it causes phase reversal and envelope distortion, because you see for values of xt negative, this value abruptly changes from positive value to negative value. Okay, so modulation constraint is basically this term. Okay, and now if we write the time domain signal in frequency domain, xct is ac cosine omega ct. In the frequency domain for f greater than 0, xcf is, you have ac cosine omega ct would give you a delta function at f minus fc located at fc, and ac mu xt cosine omega ct would give you mu by 2, half term comes because of the cosine term, positive and negative frequencies. So you have AC x f minus fc. So there is a shift of the message spectrum as we had discussed before. So ordinary AM is not practical for message with significant low frequency content. Ordinary AM is, this is known as just basic or ordinary amplitude modulation. Why not practical? Because you see, if there is significant low frequency content, then you won't get a ideal sinusoid, right? Carrier frequency. The carrier frequency is located at FC, but there will be a little bit sprayed. The tail will be a little bit sprayed, and it will corrupt your information present around that region. So because of this thing, because of the presence of this carrier frequency and its associated distortion, so ordinary AM is not practical for message with significant low frequency content. You expect a good, this is suitable for a good message signal where the spectrum goes to 0 around this region, around FC. This is also known as double sideband amplitude modulation. Double sideband, DSB in short, DSB AM. Why double sideband? Because you have two sidebands and they are symmetric sidebands. This is known as upper sideband, this is known as lower sideband. What is the transmission bandwidth? We denote transmission bandwidth by B with a subscript of T to denote that's the transmission is 2W. What is the average transmitted power? So average transmitted power is basically, you take the average, this is temporal average, x square T. We discussed this when we did power spectrum correlation density, defined what is this inner product of xct with xct. and it if you make a substitution of AC 1 plus mu xt cosine omega ct, you have if you this thing do expand them, half AC square 1 plus 2 mu xt plus mu square x square t, and that comes from the term which is which does not have cos square, gives you a DC component and gives you cos 2 omega ct. So you have the same term with cos 2 omega ct. Average of this dies down, goes to 0. So you are left with this. So it is half AC square, and we already discussed before, the message is such that you have normalize and you try to remove the DC of the message such that it has a its characteristics, message temporal characteristics are between -1 to +1. Normalized message characteristics. So average is xt is 0. So if you substitute that, so this value vanishes, and you have 1 plus mu square average of x square t. Average of x square t is known as Sx, which is known as average message power. So average transmitted power is half AC square 1 plus mu square Sx. So another assumption in this derivation is the carrier frequency is much greater than the bandwidth, such that the frequency, when it is translated and there is no overlap. It is translated if such that Fc minus W is much greater than 0. It's there is no overlap between the negative frequency and the positive frequency spectrum after shifting. Now let's see an example how it looks. So here is an example xt. Remember we said that its average is averaged out 0, and it is maximum value is less than 1, minimum value is greater than -1. Normalized message spectrum. Now you see, when we do amplitude modulation, when we multiply by the carrier AC, so the minimum value now goes to -AC, maximum value goes to +AC. This is for the choice of regular modulation scheme or the modulation constraint satisfied scheme, mu less than 1. You see, this is the carrier frequency. Maximum value of the modulated signal is AC 1 plus mu. Minimum value is AC 1 minus mu. So if you see if mu is greater than if mu is equal to 1, so minimum value is 0. It barely touches the 0. So it varies from this max to 0 for mu equal to 1. If mu is greater than 1, we'll see what happens in the next picture. But you see that for mu less than 1, you see that whatever is the message signal, whatever it looks, you see the envelope. This is known as envelope. Envelope faithfully represents the signal. For mu greater than 1, yeah, you see, this is interesting. For mu greater than 1, the maximum value, the minimum value, definitely there is a 0 crossing because mu is greater than 1, and henceforth you see over here, so this is the message signal, which is actually the envelope would be something like this. This crosses 0 and this goes in this direction. But what you observe is, if you directly observe this signal without going into the details, you would see that the envelope would look something like this, which is not the actual message signal. So there is this tiny bit of phase reversal present for mu greater than 0. That means over modulation. So that actually denotes that you have over modulated the signal. And if there is any, somehow if you miss this and or this is this portion is erased out, or if there is noise or certain other thing where you can kind of this is not clearly observed, then you miss the phase reversal and you expect that the signal would be something like this. Message signal would be something like this, which is actually not true. So we generally prefer to not to use this over modulation, but over modulation can be used, because as you see, if you there is average transmitted power is large if you increase mu, if you make mu to be large. Mu is greater than 1. So this is an important point which I want to mention. Now let's see the spectrum. If you observe the spectrum, you see this is the original message signal which was located from -W to +W. and after modulation this has been shifted to fc minus w to fc plus w. This is the transmission bandwidth. There is just a shift in frequency. Likewise, there is a shift towards negative frequency because they will be symmetric with respect to each other, and this is the corresponding phase. And recall that, as we said, this fc minus w has to be greater than 0. Fc must be greater than w for amplitude modulation to take place without spectrum interfering, because if it's not, then you have a positive spectrum which has shifted something like this, and you have a negative spectrum which has shifted something like this, and this negative spectrum portion would interfere in the positive spectrum, and so on, and vice versa. That leads to some problem. Okay, so let's calculate, let's go back to the efficiency. So average transmitted power we had discussed, ST is equal to half AC square 1 plus mu square SX. Okay, so let's again look into this thing. So average transmitted power is half AC square, can be broken into half AC square, which is the carrier power, unmodulated carrier power, and the remaining portion you see, which is half AC square mu square Sx, can be written as 2 times power per sideband. So which is 2 times, because as shown in the picture here, these two are the two sidebands, upper sideband and lower sideband, and they both of them carry equal power because they are symmetric in nature. So 2 times this. So where power per sideband is basically 1/4 AC square mu square Sx. To combine this together, it is basically half AC square is power carrier power, so it is half mu square Sx Pc. We define power efficiency eta. Power efficiency is basically where is the information content in the amplitude modulated signal. The information content in the amplitude modulated signal is in the sideband. It is not in the carrier power. So that is the efficiency of the power efficiency, because you want to, ideally you want to have more and more information power in the information content region. So it is 2 PSB divided by PC plus 2 PSB. Okay. So modulation constraint actually implies mod mu xt is less than equal to 1. We discussed that before. So that would imply in terms of power, mu square Sx, this term should be less than equal to 1. This is known as, again, the constraint that comes based on the viewpoint that we will not go for over modulation. We can faithfully reconstruct the envelope. We can reconstruct the message signal from the envelope itself. So this would imply that power sideband mu square Sx is less than half Pc. Okay. So because P power per sideband is half mu square Sx Pc is less than equal to half Pc. Fine. So now what is my carrier power? Carrier power plus 2 times power per sideband is the total power. So carrier power is total power, transmitted power, minus 2 times PSB. And this is greater than equal to 2 times PSB, power side per sideband. So from here you can actually conclude that power per sideband is less than equal to 1/4 ST, total transmitted power. Power per sideband, from here if you bring in the inequality, so ST is greater than equal to 4 PSB. So PSB, power per sideband, is less than equal to 1/4. 1/4 means 25%. So power per sideband which contains the information is only consists of 25% of total transmitted power. What about the carrier power? The carrier power is greater than 2 PSB. Greater than 2 PSB means it is greater than equal to half ST. That means the carrier power, more than 50% of the total transmitted power resides with the carrier. Now carrier does not contain the message. It is independent of the message and it conveys no information. The information is contained only sideband, any one sideband. You need not need both. So it's a huge wastage of transmitted power. It's amplitude modulation is an extremely simple scheme, very primitive scheme, very easy to implement hardware wise, cost wise very low, but it's a huge wastage of transmitted power because only 25% of the total power is actually useful, and more than 50% is wasted in the carrier. So only advantage is XT can be simply extracted by an envelope detector, which is the very simple circuitry. We'll discuss about that later. So let's see the efficiency for a tone modulation. For tone modulation, XT is cosine omega t, and if XT is cosine omega t, then we have what is Sx? Sx is, so cosine omega t is limited between plus minus 1, average is 0, it satisfies all our criteria. What is average of xt? Sx? Sx is, if you take the average of this, it is half. What is PSB? PSB, if you calculate PSB, as we had discussed before, is half mu square Sx PC. So it's 1/4 mu square PC. If we calculate efficiency, it's 2 PSB by PC plus 2 PSB. So eta is, it substitute back here, 2 PSB is half mu square PC divided by PC plus half mu square PC, and it comes out to be mu square by 2 plus mu square into 100. So that gives the efficiency in percentage. Okay, for tone modulation, note this is not for an arbitrary signal, for a tone modulation. Tone modulation means where this is cosine omega t, just a single the message frequency, the message signal consists of a single frequency at omega m message frequency. Okay, so what can we observe from here? We can observe from here that if you increase mu, the efficiency will increase. We are mentioning, right? Remember that mu sometimes in certain cases we go for overmodulation. For the maximum value of mu for means from the modulation constant, where an envelope detector can be used very easily, simple circuitry is mu less than equal to 1. So for mu is equal to 1, we have 1 by 2 plus 1, which is 33%. So the efficiency is 33% for the case when mu is equal to 1. For over modulation, it is greater than that. For most practical signals, what do we expect is the efficiency to be just around 20 to 25%. It's not more than that for a general, when you have mixture of various signals combined together. So this shows that the regular amplitude modulation, where you have carrier present, symmetric sidebands, it's not a very efficient scheme. We then move towards something known as double sideband suppressed carrier, which we will discuss about the next development in the linear modulation scheme is something known as DSB-SC. We'll discuss in next lecture. Thank you very much.